right, all right. We're actually live streaming now. And what I really wanted to do was take some time to, have a discussion around a couple of movies that I saw recently. So I don't know who's up or what's going on, but I just decided I want to do something different. I decided I want to keep on moving. I'm looking for something to clean my glasses. I decided I want to keep on moving and developing and creating and seeing what God's going to do. One of the things that I was able to do within the last 7 days was I was able to watch two films. The first film, I'm glad to say it has my nephew in it, so I was kind of had some familial motivation to go see the movie, and that's called The Forge. The Forge. And the other movie is, that didn't do very good. And the other movie is, what is that called? Deliverance. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of discussion out there about this, and I'm like, I don't know what the fullness of it is. That's way better. So, but I do want to discuss about something about it because I'm like, I think that after having watched The Forge, which by the way, I highly recommend every person who is interested in sharing the good news of the Christ, the anointed way. If you're interested in that and sharing it in an intelligent way, then you want to watch the movie The Forge, especially if you're concerned about the role of the man in the family. This movie is very uplifting and motivating to the man, a young man. It's like a young man coming of age, a character development movie. So with this, I'm really, really happy to say I'm glad that we have this opportunity to at least talk about this because the movie blew my mind. What was it? What was it? One, I got to be honest with you. It was an in-your-face type of presentation of the good news message. And it was done in so many different ways that it just blows my mind how it was actually done. The way it was done, it was, how do I say it? I think that in terms of presenting the good news message of the Christ, the anointed one, the biblical Christ, that is, this movie does a really good job at it from a positive perspective. On the other hand, while we're doing some similarities and differences, both the Forge, let me just finish with the Forge. I thought it was good. I think the Forge, I need somebody to talk to me. I wish I could figure out how to get you guys to talk to me. And I don't know how to do that yet. So I'm just here and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Do I know if anybody's ever coming on? I have no idea. Here's my point. That movie, The Forge, what it did was it caused me to think about how big, how big ideas are formulated and developed. This brother named, I think his name was, I can't remember. The main character, we have the main character, and we have the brother. I have some notes that I can pull up and talk to you about it. But at the end of the day, I felt like the young man in the movie was being introduced to the ideas of mentorship, being introduced to the ideas of accountability among a group of men, being introduced to the idea of character development, being introduced to the idea of spiritual growth and development around prayer. There were so many positive things and aspects that this movie had. It deals with the issue of the estranged father to son issue. The movie has great redeeming value. On top of that, I noticed that the movie is, to me, a precursor of the church of the future. It wasn't so much in the buildings and with all the choir. I think they might have had one, but it wasn't all that. It was Christ in you, the hope of glory, in the marketplace. The brother had a business, and his business was doing worldwide business, and he had an aspect of his business that paid for ministry and outreach to go on. Other people to get water and other kind of things. The movie had everything. It was love in action, it was love in action for real, for real. Then on the other hand, you got this other movie called Deliverance. I hope we can talk about it. the other movie, Deliverance, uh, it was interesting too. So what I'm going to do is it was a spiritual movie. They both quoted scripture. The Forge quoted a lot of scripture and gave you visuals of the scripture and how it was an interpretation of. But the Deliverance quoted a couple of passages, a few, and they were both about spiritual things. On the one hand, you got spiritual warfare in terms of deliverance. You got a human being fully possessed by dark forces. But the offer of the solution to the problem was religious ritual. One that I think we need to do more of. It was the exorcist. Exorcist, that means to cause something that was inside, a spirit inside, to come out of the individual. Now, Jesus had a very prominent exorcist ministry. He did it very prominent. He was casting demons out, man. He was doing the work. But we haven't seen much of that kind of work since him and since the writers of the. But now, I'm telling you, I'm seeing more and more people who are exercising power. So one of the things about the Deliverance is, at least to let you know, this is war. There's a sword in the Forge, yes, and the sword is used as a symbol of strength and power and all, and that's beautiful. There's that circle of prayer, and that's very interesting. And the other one, you see images, you see Bible, is one of like the crucifixion on fire and Deliverance, just very interesting things. But what it's trying to tell us that it's a spiritual season, and if we don't catch that, we're missing it. I'm not going to say that it opened up the Deliverance opened up dark portal. I'm not going to say it didn't either. What I'm trying to say is that one of the things, me cautiously, I didn't watch that movie unless it was, I had enough time to really process and let the spirit work through. I'm not going to watch that at night and go to sleep on that. I don't pay to get horrified. There's enough fear in the world. And one side you had fear being used as a way to, in fact, I think that the person who directed that movie, LD, he said something like he wanted to scare people into thinking more clearly. All right, I don't know about that. I know that when I tried to preach fear, the Most High shut it down on me. Said, "No, you preach love, not fear. Don't try to scare people into heaven or scare people out of heaven." But at any rate, the idea that there are spiritual realities and things actually going on, that is a very, very important idea, and we really need to give thought of that. Put ye there on, I said, put on the whole armor of God. What do you need armor for? You need armor when you're in a war. Armor is for warfare, my friends. So we are in a spiritual warfare, and Jesus Christ, the ultimate exorcist, not those priests, those priests 2 or 3 times. Jesus, come out of him. I command you to come out of him. I'll bind you up. I cast you into art. I mean, we have the power of the word to declare things that will just shake this world, but we've been dumbed down to think that we are slaves and worms. But no, we are sons and daughters of the Most High, full of power and authority. So that's why I like that other movie. I have a preference now. I realize that I prefer the Deliverance, and I would recommend people go see Deliverance. I prefer and recommend the Forge, not the Deliverance. I'm not saying that, but that's not for everybody. I think the perspective is off, that you're using fear to motivate people. No, you're going to use love. So that's where it's off. However, it does give light that there are spiritual realities. So I was tempted to come on and talk about something called the distractions, that while you have the Forge raging off in the movie theaters, and more people, and I want to encourage more, especially fathers. This is a father-son movie if you ever had one before. This is an uncle and nephew movie if you ever had one. This is a cousins movie. This is the brothers hanging out movie. This is something that we need to talk about, and talk about what kind of character development is happening in this that brings forth strength and power and encouragement into our sons. Yeah. The other one is primarily woman focused, and the father, but woo-wee, the father in both of these movies is an estranged person from the family, causing the children to have be open to and exposed to spiritual uh, warfare on levels that, and then the sister had to come in. I didn't like that idea that they had on the that the apostle that didn't have enough love and without fear to overcome that demon. That made me mad. I didn't like that. Because greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. I'm not going around saying you pick and fight with Satan, but I'm gonna tell you, you can make him run. Just speak the word. You can bind them up. You have authority and power. Well, that's what God has given us. Anyway, I think I said it. No. On this one, I'm gonna do a little bit more because this is kind of like one of my first live streams on YouTube, and I wanted to see if I can make some things happen. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was that I want to talk about some of these comparisons. I told you the ones that I saw that I took note of. The forge is light, the deliverance is dark. The forge is love, the deliverance is fear. The forge is light in spirit. You come out lifted. The deliverance, you come out feeling weighted. In fact, I think it's a deliverance into fear and darkness. I don't know if you want that kind of deliverance. Because it looked like the sister barely got out. Now God don't take us into a fight that he can't get us out of. But Lord have mercy. Come on now. Anyway, deliverance is the fourth is about men in faith, and the other one is about women in fear, and then later on in faith. It's spiritual warfare on both of them. They're similar in that they both quote scripture, but they come from a different perspective. One, I think, is a perspective of love. The other one is a perspective of fear. In fact, when you think about that, that's exactly what's happening in the church today. Ooh, what are you talking about? Pastor, I don't want to be saying stuff like that. Well, what I'm saying is that in the church today, there are leaders who are using fear and guilt and shame to keep people in the pews and paying tithe. And then there are ministers and spiritual practitioners who are using love, and they're encouraging people to participate in the currency of love and seeing God do great and wonderful things. I don't know where you are right now in that process, but I pray that this discussion might help you get there. Let me see. I pulled down some things from the AI. You know, we're in the AI generation, and I looked up some stuff, and I'm just going to share some of the things I got with you. So I'm going to be honest that I got these things from AI. AI said, here's how AI did it. AI, chat GTP4, I'll give you some credit for this. It says both the Forge and Deliverance, the Forge 2024 and Deliverance 2024 are faith-based dramas, but they diverge significantly in tone, theme, and execution. If that's not true, I don't know what is. I just told you basically the tone. One is fear. One is I gave you the basic outline of how these things are different in tone and in theme and in execution. Now, the similarities are that faith and redemption. You believe in the God, you believe in power, you believe in force, and then that faith brings about a redemption. For the young man, it was faith. I think Isaiah, faith in the mentor, faith in God, faith in himself that brought about the redemption of a redeemed, a brand new character formed and developed. But in the other movie, there is faith that this mother is not going to let this demon take her children. After she had to be convinced that these demons were running her family crazy, she had to come. And so there you got redemption. And at the end, she does redeem her family. The exorcist happen, and the people and the demons leave the body and leave the family. So in the Forge, the story revolves around Isaiah, the young man mentored by the Christian leader. His name is Joshua. He got this business. I just love the way they use the names in that. And so he who finds himself purpose through discipleship. Joshua, Isaiah helps this young man find his purpose through discipleship and spiritual growth. I love that this movie so clearly puts out the information about spiritual growth and development. and how much is connected to being intertwined with one another. Yes. And then we're going to say this. Now, similarly, the deliverance focuses on a family design, just like in that one, a family design with supernatural demonic forces where faith and religious rituals play a crucial role in the ultimate salvation. Now, yes, definitely a twist. If you can't stomach fear and all that kind of stuff, then don't watch that. Definitely don't watch that. Focus on the family. Both of them focus on the family. Both films center on family dynamics. In The Forge, Isaiah's strange relationship with his father is central to his personal and spiritual growth. This strange relationship, he can't get past his father's the relationship he had with his father in order to have full development. At some point, he has to deal with that relationship. Now, in the Deliverance, Ebony Jackson struggle. That's the woman, the mother, struggles as a single mother trying to save her children from possession. Drive this plot. This mother, who's being accused of everything, has to deal with demons on top of the world system. So here's some contrast. The tone and genre, the way it's written. The Forge is a straightforward, uplifting drama rooted in everyday struggles of faith, mentorship, personal growth within a community setting, and it's emotionally driven, but grounded in real life scenarios of work, church, personal transformation. On the other hand, the Deliverance leans heavily into supernatural horror, demon possession. And these demons seem to be pretty doggone powerful, blending an intense demonic possession scene with themes of spiritual warfare. Its tone is dark and more suspenseful, incorporating elements of psychological and paranormal horror. Two different tones, two different genres. In terms of character development, while The Forge develops its protagonist, that is the hero, Isaiah, through mentorship, that's how his character is formed, and eventually coming to faith in the Christ, coming to faith into the anointed, and coming to faith that Christ in him is the hope of glory. Yes, that moves him to cause character development. But Deliverance focuses more on survival and spiritual battles. Now, we know that the whole book of Ephesians said, put you on the whole armor of God, gird up your loins with truth, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the sword of the feet, the spirit, the helmet of salvation, the feet shod with. I mean, there's a whole armor that you're putting on. So that gives you a clue that there's something to what Brother LD is talking about in this movie. We do need to be prepared because this is war. I'm going to tell you, they're not like us. They are not like us, if you know what I mean. We're going to say that. And it says the narrative in Deliverance is more chaotic. It's less emphasis on character growth, but more on confronting terrifying external and internal forces. Yeah, it's something else. Then there's this supernatural element. Number 3, the Deliverance is packed with paranormal activity, including possessions and exorcism, whereas The Forge is grounded in relationship and family and connection and conflict, with its conflicts being more personal and emotional, centered around human relationship and community support. You got to go see The Forge. If you're going to choose between these two, pick The Forge, not just because my nephew is in the movie. Yes. Mr. Michael Patterson. But because it has good spiritual qualities and virtue that I believe in. If you like what you heard here, go on and subscribe, hit the bell, let somebody else know about it, share, the routine. Come on and do that. All right, my fellow love ambassadors, This is the love ambassador here to say, keep your hands clean and your heart pure and always remember that. God bless you. This is Omar, and ending my first live. Oh.